Welcome, welcome. I am so excited you are here. My name is Karla Caldwell, and I am your nurse health coach today. It is March, and March is National Nutrition Month. And in honor of it being National Nutrition Month, I thought we could talk about a problem that is very relevant for most people: chronic inflammation. We're going to talk about what is inflammation, when does it become a problem, what are the things that contribute to chronic inflammation, and what are the things that reduce chronic inflammation. Then we're going to make a plan. I'm going to guide you to create a plan to improve by 10%. I hope that sounds good. If anyone you know benefits from this topic, please share this out with your network. And if you're watching this on the replay, welcome. And I'm so excited you are here. Okay, so inflammation is your body's natural defense system. When you get injured or sick, inflammation helps your body heal. So it's a great thing for when you are fighting an illness, or when you've cut yourself, or you've had an injury in your body. Inflammation helps you to repair and heal. Where it becomes a problem is when you have chronic inflammation and it's not there to actually solve an illness or injury. It's just present all the time. Some of the things that cause chronic inflammation: stress. When we're chronically stressed, that can cause a problem. Not getting enough sleep, our environment, and what we're going to focus on today is food. Food can be one of the most common contributors to chronic inflammation. And the problem is that when your body is inflamed chronically for a long period of time, it can lead to certain illnesses like heart disease, diabetes, some types of cancers, arthritis, digestive disorders, and mentally depression. Well, one of the biggest culprits of chronic inflammation, again, is what we consistently eat and sleep. I made this handout for you. It gives you the background, the information, resources at the end, and actually your 10% improvement action guide. So I'm just going to scroll down. One of my favorite sources is the Harvard Medical School. They have some great information about what is inflammation, especially chronic inflammation, what contributes to it. And they have lots of guides on anti-inflammatory eating and stress reduction. It is a wonderful resource. So, how do you know you have inflammation? I am going to scroll down so that we can talk about what are some of the signs you might have. So I'm going to ask you to do a personal inventory as we're going through this. One of the symptoms of chronic inflammation is persistent fatigue, just always feeling like you're walking through molasses. Brain fog, forgetting things, having trouble with your memory, joint stiffness, joint pain, digestive issues, gas, bloating, acid reflux, skin problems like eczema or rashes or skin dryness. Headaches can be a sign of chronic inflammation. Weight gain, having a really difficult time losing weight, poor sleep, low mood, irritability. These symptoms can be signaling that you are in chronic inflammation. And these symptoms are your body's way of saying, hello, hello, help. Something is off balance. And in whole life healing, we are invited to listen to those symptoms, to listen to our body's messages before our body has to shout, before it gets very sick. There are foods that reduce inflammation, and there are foods that increase inflammation. We're going to start with looking at some of the most common foods that help reduce inflammation. And one of my favorite ways to manage health is by adding in healthy behaviors and naturally crowding out the bad without the drama of, I can't do this anymore, or you can't do that. So, for foods that help reduce inflammation, things like tomatoes, olives, olive oil, all green leafy vegetables are your friend. And also green cruciferous like broccoli, green beans, those are very good too. Spinach, kale, dandelion greens, arugula, nuts such as almonds and walnuts, fatty fishes like salmon, sardines, mackerel, tuna, and lots of colorful fruits like all the berries, all the fruits in the berry family, cherries, oranges. All of these foods are nutrient dense, filled with antioxidants, fiber, healthy fats, and help to lower inflammation. Now we got to talk about the foods that are causing all the inflammation. Unfortunately, these foods are readily available, they're everywhere. So it's our highly processed foods, pastries, really excess sugar, fried foods, refined carbohydrates like really simple white breads or white sugars. All of those can increase inflammation in the body. I also encourage you to look at foods that are empty calories. By empty calories, I mean that they have calories, but they don't have any nutrition. Nothing that's going to help your body thrive, revive, rebuild. It's just empty. Another indication is when you're reading labels. If the label's like this long and you don't understand a lot of the ingredients, it's likely your body doesn't either. So these are just general suggestions, and I encourage you to think about it. And again, like I mentioned earlier, focus your energy on adding in nutrient dense foods, and you will find that naturally you'll start to crave those foods more and eat less of the foods that are not helping. I have been doing this work for a long time, not only for myself, because I'm also someone who I used to have chronic inflammation, and I just thought that was life. I thought it was life to have migraines and joint pain and being bloated and gassy all the time, stomach problems, rashes. I thought all of that was just the way my life was going to go. And the more I've learned through integrative nutrition and health coaching that foods either help us or hurt us, that has been a very powerful realization. And not only have I applied this work to myself, but at this point in time, I've worked with over 10,000 individuals. And what I find over and over that even though research says, even though we know which foods are better for us, or even if you don't yet know and you start researching, that is not as powerful as your body telling you. And what I mean by that is I invite you to start paying attention. When you are having foods that are empty calories, or maybe they're foods that you know they don't have a lot of nutrients, they might not be great for you. Yes, the research might say they're not good for you, but listen to what your body says. Your body, when it eats empty calorie foods, foods that won't help your health, your body responds. And it is very powerful when you mentally start to connect. Wow, when I eat a lot of fried foods, I don't feel good. I feel lethargic. My stomach hurts. When you start to notice that when you have a lot of sugar, maybe your head hurts, maybe your joints hurt, that is very powerful. It's important that you begin to pay attention because you will be more motivated when you see the link and the relationship between food and how you feel. When you start to notice that if you're eating fruits and a salad with nuts and healthy fats and maybe a lean protein or a fatty fish, and you feel energized and you feel good, that is powerful when your mind and body make that connection. So, from this moment forward, I am encouraging you to pay attention. Is this food helping me or hurting me? Okay. All right, I'm done with that. Now we're going to create the plan. Are you ready? I'm so excited. This is the best part. This is where we empower and equip ourselves with a plan. And we always start with your North Star. What matters most to you? Health changes stick when it supports what you value most. This is the driver. This is your motivation. This is your why. What keeps you going even when you don't want to? Why do you do everything you do? For me, it's for my family and legacy. Whatever it is for you, please write it down and keep that front and center with everything you are trying to do to improve yourself, especially when it comes to your health. Now, let's collect data from the most important place of all, you. You are the most important place. I am going to ask you to think of the last 7 days. And you are going to rate yourself on how am I doing with food and drink in relation to inflammation. We looked at all of those symptoms earlier. On a scale of 1 to 10, how are you doing? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Don't overthink this. It fluctuates. Just where are you at? And write it down. We cannot manage what we don't measure. Awareness creates choice, and choice creates change. We don't rate ourselves to compare ourselves with anyone else. We are rating ourselves so we can get a baseline and identify a solid action we can take to improve. Oh, this is my favorite one. Ready? Number 3. We don't want to be perfect. We want to work towards our best health, but right now, we are not concerned with making that huge jump to perfect. We are concerned with identifying an action that will help us improve by 1 point, by 10%. 1 point, 10%. Big change begins with small, practical, doable steps. And if I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do to go from here, maybe I'm not feeling well, to feeling fantastic, that can feel overwhelming. But if I ask myself, What can I do to feel 10% better? It's a lot easier for me to come up with the best action possible that I need right here, right now. So, what is one realistic action you can take this week to improve your rating by one? Not by two, three, or four, by one. Whatever it is, write it down. And again, this worksheet will be available on my Substack and in my Stan store. Just message me if you don't know what those are or where to find them. All right, this is where the rubber meets the road. We have our action step, but it's likely your action step is more of an idea, and we want to move from idea to action. If your action step is, I'm going to eat more fruit or I'm going to drink more water, that's an idea. And your success, we don't know. But if you turn it into a SMART goal, meaning that you move from idea to action by making sure it's specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, relevant, time sensitive, you're more likely to follow through. So instead of, I will eat healthier, you might say something like, I will add a serving of vegetables every day at lunch or 5 days a week for lunch. Whatever your goal is, make sure it is SMART. Now, I'm going to give you a behind the scenes tip. If you are serious about winning with your goal, make sure that you're confident. Make sure that it is realistic. Make sure you've set the right kind of goal for you right here, right now. And how do you do that? You're going to assess confidence. Confidence is the strongest predictor of success. So you're going to ask yourself, how confident am I that I will complete this goal? On a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being not confident, 10 being it's done. If you are a 7 or above, that's great. You're likely to, you've probably set a really good goal for yourself. If you're below 7, that's okay. I am going to strongly encourage you to rewrite it. And you can do that by asking yourself, how can I rewrite this goal so that I'm a confidence of 7 or above? What I find that happens often is it's human nature to want to do big things, and that's great, but we may not be confident about it. Or sometimes we are not working with ourselves and our limitations and life demands. We're not being honest with ourselves. We're trying to accomplish something that someone else is doing or something we think we should be able to do. So when you rewrite your goal, likely what is happening is that you are rewriting it in a way that honors your life's demands and your current situation. And I invite you to lean into that. I see a lot of heartache when people are trying to do things they're not ready for. They're trying to be someone they're not. And when they honor where they are, when they set goals that are in alignment with what's realistic, with their life's demands, they have success. And actually, many of them end up progressing to that vision of themselves that they have. It's just that you have to start where you are. Okay, enough on that. Last part of this, the most important part of all, whatever your SMART goal is, you want to make sure you mentally understand in your mind, you feel it in your heart and gut. How does accomplishing this goal support what matters most to me? I shared earlier what matters most to me is my family. So whenever I set a goal for my health, I make sure that I understand mentally in my heart and my gut how it will benefit what matters most. So if it's exercising, for example, I know that when I exercise, I'm more patient with my family. I have more energy. I do better for them. So when I keep that in mind, I'm more likely to follow through on my health goal. And you can actually use that principle with anything you're trying to do to improve your life, even things that are outside of your health. Okay, so when you follow through on this goal, you can keep repeating this process until you get to where you want to go. I cannot tell you enough times that small changes done consistently is very powerful. It's very, very powerful. Please share this with anyone who benefits. I am rooting for your success times 1,000. If you have any questions, let me know. The handout will be available on my Substack and Stan store. And I'm wishing you nothing but the best. I hope you have a great day. Thank you for taking care of yourself. When you take care of yourself, you inspire everyone around you to do the same, and that is powerful. Have a great day. Bye.